to rub the family car with potatoes. This isn't... This
What? Potatoes? I've never heard of that. Potatoes? Greetings and welcome back to another reaction video, and we've got another Lost in the Pond video. I love reacting to Laurence Brown, Lost in the Pond. Links in the description. Check him out. Go support him. He also has a Patreon as well. Send him much love from the Mr. H and Friends family. Today's video is entitled 6 Winter Hacks I Only Used After Moving to the Midwest. I'm really looking forward to this as it's winter time over here. I'd be interested to know all the different sort of tips and tricks you get when it's like an icy morning. Try not to hit the microphone. When it's an icy morning, how do you defrost windscreens, mirrors and things like that? So really looking forward to these little hacks, and hopefully I'll be able to take something away from it. I'm Mr. H and I'm on a mission to learn all things USA. If you're new to the channel and that sounds good, then don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Now I am going to quit my jibber jabber and get straight into it.
And I've been aided in that caution ever since I've moved to the Midwest, where another colleague taught me the penguin method. What's the penguin method, Laurence?
What is the penguin method? I've got no idea. What is the penguin method? I take it this is an American thing. Wow, looking forward to this. Really looking forward to this.
Hello and Happy New Year. I'm Laurence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond. And one of those memos pertains to winter. By now, we live in precedented times, meaning that for many, the harsh freeze of winter can only add to the gloom. As somebody who grew up in Britain, where winters are mostly bearable, this was never really me until, that is, I moved to America's Midwest, where the weather can get so unbearable, even the tardigrades are moving back to Britain. In all of the years that I've been describing this, there's one thing that I haven't told you. That along the way, I've picked up several hacks, that is, clever workarounds, to make Midwestern winters 22% more bearable.
As a lot of you know, I'm a big fan of Laurence Browns. And I really admire him. I'm not trying to blow smoke up his bum or anything like that, which is a UK term for flattering and things like that. But if you think about how he puts this together, it's so well put together. You know, the research he does, how much work he does to put it together. He puts it in a way that's manageable for even someone of my IQ, and he makes it funny as well. And yeah, he just comes through, his personality comes through, and yeah, I'll shut up now.
21% more bearable. And I know what you're thinking, those content creators who come up with hacks are themselves hacks. But it's different this time because I'm not entirely convinced by some of these hacks, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. Oh yes, and just to preempt those of you that live in a cold place that isn't the Midwest, like Alaska or Greenland or an iceberg in the middle of the Atlantic, I'm quite aware that the hacks that you're about to hear are used in other places, but I didn't move to those, I moved to the Midwest. And so without any more faffing about, here are 6 winter hacks that I only picked up after moving to the Midwest.
Faffing about. Chain reaction. Chain reaction. Now, if I was thinking of chain reaction, I've seen it in TV programs and films, they put chains over the tyres when it's really snowing. Is that right? Chain reaction?
To another country, your brain is busy trying to take in all of the weird stuff you've never seen before. For me, it was things like injury lawyer billboards, the word aluminium but with one eye, and the Geico gecko. But having moved here in the lead up to winter, there were several things that I saw people doing to their cars. And one of those occurred on a particularly snowy day when I noticed that the tyres of certain moving vehicles were decked out in chains. And that's when I realised that America takes bling to a whole new level. But this wasn't for decorative purposes. People in the Midwest and other cold places equip their cars with tyre chains to give them extra traction in the snow or ice.
Isn't it wonderful? What a great idea. I mean, I guess a lot of you, this is just common sense, but, you know, someone must have thought, I know, I'm going to put some chains on a tyre and, you know, just to see if it'll get more traction and pull you along a lot easier. It's just brilliant, isn't it? I'd never have thought of something like that. I've heard of using the floor mats. So I don't know if you use the same word, floor mats, but in your car you have floor mats in so your feet don't wear out the footwell of the car. I've heard about putting floor mats underneath the tyre. So it sort of grips onto the floor mat and gets you out of a bit of a bind. But yeah, chains. What a great idea.
Now, before that well-known anti-chain brigade comes at me with all of the laws and legal ramifications...
Is there? Really? I suppose there is. I suppose there is, really. Interesting.
It turns out that while mostly legal, laws around tyre chains do vary by state. So be sure to look those up at your own leisure/leisure.
Wipe it off. Wipe it off. I'm just guessing the windscreen. But then you don't wipe it off. You scrape the ice off, don't you? Wipe it off. Don't know.
So now that you've pictured that vehicle with more jewellery than Mr. T, picture that same vehicle with what you...
We are so on the same page, Laurence and I, but he's just like, you know, a lot more intelligent. I love Mr. T as well. Jibber Jabber comes from. We are roughly the same age, actually. We like Star Wars, Doctor Who, like that. Me and Laurence are like that.
You think are broken windscreen wipers/windshield wipers. This was exactly my thought when I saw a stationary car or two with their wipers sticking up in the air. Well, I quickly learned the reason for this. It turns out people do it in advance of Snowmageddon or a particularly bad frost in order to prevent the wipers from freezing to the window.
Wow. That's a really helpful hack. I didn't know about that. I've not seen cars do that, but that makes perfect sense. I've gone through, actually, my windscreen wipers now need replacing because we've had some ice that sticks to the windscreen, and I just sort of put the windscreen heaters on and then do the windscreen wipers, and it just sticks and it starts to perish the rubber. But what a great idea. Normally kids do that just to annoy the people that own the car. They put the windscreen wipers up. But yeah, great idea.
And while I have myself made use of this, and while it does make things easier, there is something oddly gratifying about pulling a frozen wiper from the window, so long as you don't snap it. And anyway, it wasn't my car. But while we're on this subject, you know, cleaning off the car is something I've had to do multiple times every year since I moved to the Midwest. And usually a good old scraper does the trick, but there are people out there that like to remind me to get ahead of the game.
Oh, reflect on this. Just one thing, something we do over here, although I need to do it. Sometimes you can get like a big sheet and you put it over your windscreen. I'm not sure if it's like a plastic sheet, but maybe a bit of material inside, and just put it all the way across the windscreen and then open up the front doors and you close the sheet inside. If that makes sense. So it covers the exterior of the windshield or the windscreen. And then when you wake up in the morning, you open up the doors, take the covers off, and your windscreen is clear.
And apparently that doesn't just entail putting your wipers up the night before. An old work colleague of mine who was really into cars, we'll call him Frank, they're always Frank, absolutely swore by putting Ziploc bags on his wing mirrors. And Frank's reasoning is that this prevents ice from building up on your mirror. And so I tested it, and sure enough, so long as you seal the bag properly, this method does work.
Wow.
The only thing is, it takes about as much effort to do this as it does to scrape off the ice, and it's no way near as pleasing. No offense, Frank, but this just proves that you're bad at prioritising tasks, which is why they made you senior manager.
A lot of the cars over here have heated mirrors. So as soon as the car comes on, it starts to defrost straight away. But yeah, if it's really, really thick ice, I'm guessing it'll take a while for that to come off. But yeah, I've never heard of that. Great hack.
It happens, Frank also liked to merge his love of cars with his love of food.
You say potato. Potato. I know it's about you say potato and potato or whatever it is, tomato. What? Is it something to do with words or is it something to do with a potato? I don't know. Either way, I don't know.
Frank was one of those people who was always just sort of there. But having seen much of the world from Plymouth, Indiana to Lebanon, Indiana, Frank was never afraid to impart his sage wisdom. And that's why he advised me during one particularly harsh winter to rub the family car with potatoes.
What? Potatoes? I've never heard of that. Potatoes?
It's not a joke. The theory goes that taking a sliced potato and then rubbing it against your window will disperse the sugar content
Behold my invisible potato.
of your potato across the window.
I've never heard of that.
Create some sort of magical force field against the ice. And it turns out Frank was right. It really does work.
What?
And the only two reasons that I don't have B-roll of this in action is that A, it's pretty much the same work just to scrape the ice off. And truly, it's a waste of a potato, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be eating an ice scraper because my wife's cousin Chad is the exception that proves the rule.
Drip drops. Drip drops. I wonder what drip drops is. What would drip drops be? Don't know. No idea.
Of course, the safest place to be during a freeze-pocalypse is your house. But even then, assuming that there are no problems with your heating or your freezer or your fridge, you could fall foul to a burst pipe. And that's because sometimes your pipes are unable to withstand the pressure of the frigid water inside. And that's why I've learned to practice hack number 5. And hack number 5 is where you intentionally leave your taps running so as to alleviate the problem of a burst pipe. And some of you might be thinking, that's a wild waste of water, but here's the thing. You only turn on the tap a tiny bit so that a small, constant drizzle flows out, enhancing the welfare of your pipes and making it impossible to sleep at night. Because even if you're not affected by the torturous sound of the dripping, you're constantly lying there paranoid that you accidentally left the plug in the sink again. And if that's not enough to keep you awake at night, perhaps the image of me doing the following funny walk is...
March of the Penguins. What is March of the Penguins? Never heard of that. Is it something to do with like waddling? To keep yourself warm, I don't know. What is that? March of the Penguins.
Ice on the ground can be very dangerous both here in the Midwest and back in Britain. After all, I remember when I was about 14 years old, I saw my physics teacher fall flat on his back, and once everybody around
Once everyone stopped laughing. I bet he says once everyone stopped laughing.
him had moved past the laughter, we soon realised that probably hurt. And so I've been very cautious ever since. And I've been aided in that caution ever since I've moved to the Midwest, where another colleague taught me the penguin method. What's the penguin method, Laurence?
Yeah.
Well, it's not where you dress up as Danny DeVito, although that later
Batman.
of gravity might help. It's where you literally walk like a penguin. It's said, and I've found this to be true, that if you waddle from side to side like this, it positions you in a better way to keep your balance on the ice. That's why you see penguins walking like YouTube sensation Laurence Browns. It turns out that is my natural waddle. Now, I am not a penguin waddle instructor, nor am I a penguin officially. So don't use this video as a how-to. Instead, I'll link to an article about it in my description below. That way, if you fall, it's on someone else. Happy New Year, everyone. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below if you have any winter hacks. I'm Laurence Brown. You can follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell so that my videos don't get lost in the pond.
Yes, absolutely. Check him out on Twitter and subscribe. He also has a Patreon, so check him out. Lovely, lovely guy. What a great video. I've learned quite a bit today. And yes, the hacks, yeah, we don't really have too much. Sometimes we get like de-icer spray. You just spray it onto the windscreen. I guess the best one is putting the sheet over your windscreen and just sort of closing it in the doors. Leave it overnight and it's all clear as you take it off. Really, really good. The sandwich bag one, I've never heard of that. Penguin, no. I think probably that's how I do walk when I'm on ice, because I'm trying not to sort of fall over. But yeah, really, really good. What a fantastic video. I learned a lot. Did you learn a lot? Did you know about these hacks? If you did, or if you didn't, let me know in the comments below. And if you've got any more ideas of hacks during the winter, please let me know. Talking about letting me know, you can reach out to me on my other social media platforms. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. There you'll be able to send me a direct message or links or anything like that. I always do my best to get back to everyone. And as an added bonus, I do put additional content on those platforms. Again, if you do like reaction videos, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Again, if you would like to support the channel even more, we do have a Patreon. Quick shout out to our amazing patrons, putting a list here of all our patrons. If you would like to support the channel even more, check out the link in the pinned comments for all the fun perks. And all that leaves me to say, Mr. H, you're my friends, is take care, God bless, see you all in the next video.